66 million years ago, a single bite could generate enough force to crush a car. The Tyrannosaurus Rex wasn't just a predator. It was a living testament to millions of years of evolutionary refinement. But here's what most people don't know. Everything you think you understand about how a T-Rex lived, hunted, and survived might be completely wrong. Recent fossil discoveries from 2023 through 2025 have fundamentally changed our understanding of these apex predators, revealing behaviors so complex and unexpected that paleontologists are still rewriting the textbooks. This is the real story of Tyrannosaurus Rex. From the moment it cracked through its shell to its final days ruling the late Cretaceous world. Let's start at the very beginning. Picture this. It's approximately 67 million years ago in what we now call Western North America. The landscape is unrecognizable, a humid, subtropical environment with massive river systems cutting through dense forests and open floodplains. The climate is warmer than today, with no ice caps at either pole, and sea levels are so high that a shallow sea splits the North American continent in two. This is the world of Laramidia, the western landmass, and this is where our story begins. Deep in a sandy nest scraped into elevated ground, away from flooding risks, a clutch of eggs begins to move. These aren't the massive boulder-sized eggs you might imagine. Tyrannosaurus Rex eggs, based on related tyrannosaur discoveries and biomechanical modeling published in 2024, were likely elongated and roughly the size of a large grapefruit. The reason? Eggshells can only be so thick before oxygen can't penetrate to the developing embryo inside. A baby T-Rex emerging from one of these eggs would be astonishingly small, perhaps only about the size of a small turkey, weighing less than 5 pounds. That's right. The most fearsome predator in North American history started life smaller than a house cat. The hatchling that emerges is covered in a coat of primitive feathers, more like fuzzy down than the flight feathers of modern birds. Recent histological analysis of tyrannosaur skin impressions, combined with phylogenetic bracketing from feathered relatives like Utyrannus and DeLong, suggests that juvenile tyrannosaurs were likely insulated with these protofeathers for thermoregulation. The baby's eyes are disproportionately large, giving it excellent binocular vision even at this tiny size. This is critical, because from the moment it hatches, this little dinosaur enters one of the most dangerous environments in Earth's history. But here's where the science gets really interesting. For decades, paleontologists debated whether tyrannosaurs provided parental care. The answer, according to research published in 2024 analyzing tyrannosaur nesting sites and growth patterns, is nuanced. Evidence suggests that T-Rex parents, particularly females, did guard nest sites and may have brought food back to hatchlings during their first few weeks of life. However, this wasn't the extended parental care we see in modern birds. Instead, it was likely a brief period of provisioning before the juveniles had to fend for themselves. Fossil evidence from multiple tyrannosaur species shows bite marks on juvenile bones, some from adults of the same species. This suggests that cannibalism, while not the norm, did occur, particularly during resource scarcity. If you're enjoying this deep dive into real dinosaur science, hit that like button and subscribe. We're covering the latest paleontology discoveries every week, and trust me, what's coming next about T-Rex hunting strategies will blow your mind. So our hatchling survives those critical first weeks, scavenging insects, small lizards, and whatever scraps the adults leave behind. But now comes the truly remarkable part, the transformation. Tyrannosaurs didn't just grow, They underwent one of the most dramatic ontogenetic changes of any land animal ever studied. Research published in 2025 using bone histology and growth series analysis reveals that T. rex experienced distinct life stages, each with completely different ecological roles. During the juvenile phase, roughly ages 2 to 13, a young T. rex occupied a completely different ecological niche than its parents. At this stage, weighing between 100 and 1,000 pounds, the juvenile was built for speed and agility. Its legs were proportionally longer and more graceful than the massive pillar-like limbs of adults. Its skull was narrower, with blade-like teeth designed for slicing rather than crushing. Biomechanical modeling published in 2024 suggests these juveniles could reach speeds of up to 25 miles per hour in short bursts, faster than adult T. rex, which topped out around 12 to 15 miles per hour according to the most recent gait analysis. This discovery solves a long-standing paleontological mystery. Where are all the medium-sized predators in late Cretaceous North America? The answer is stunning. They didn't exist as separate species. Juvenile tyrannosaurs filled that ecological role. While adults hunted massive herbivores like Triceratops and Edmontosaurus, juveniles pursued smaller, faster prey like ornithomimids and young hadrosaurs. This is called ontogenetic niche partitioning, and it's one of the most elegant examples of evolutionary efficiency ever discovered. But that was only the beginning of the mystery. Scientists were stunned when they analyzed the growth rates encoded in T. rex bones. Using lines of arrested growth, similar to tree rings, researchers determined that T. rex underwent a teenage growth spurt that would make any human adolescent jealous. Between ages 13 and 18, a T. rex gained an average of 4.6 pounds per day. That's over 1,600 pounds per year. By age 18, a T. rex reached sexual maturity, weighing between 6 and 8 tons, roughly the weight of an African elephant, and measuring up to 40 feet from snout to tail. This explosive growth had profound implications. The metabolic demands were enormous, requiring constant feeding. Isotope analysis of T. rex teeth published in 2025 reveals dietary patterns consistent with opportunistic feeding. They were both active hunters and scavengers, taking whatever meal presented the best energy return. The romantic notion of T. rex as exclusively a noble hunter or merely a scavenger is false. Like modern apex predators such as lions and hyenas, T. rex was pragmatic, adapting its behavior to circumstances. Now let's talk about the senses, because this is where T. rex truly becomes terrifying. Endocranial casts, detailed 3D models of the brain cavity created from fossil skulls, reveal that T. rex had one of the largest olfactory bulbs relative to brain size of any dinosaur. Research from 2024 suggests its sense of smell may have been comparable to modern turkey vultures, capable of detecting carrion from miles away. But the real shock came from vision studies. T. rex had forward-facing eyes with an estimated 65-degree overlap in visual fields, providing exceptional depth perception. Visual acuity modeling suggests T. rex could see details up to 6 times better than humans, and possibly even distinguish colors. Imagine a predator that could spot you from over 3 miles away and track your movements with precision while also smelling your fear. That's not Hollywood exaggeration. That's peer-reviewed science. The bite force is legendary, but the reality is even more impressive than the myths. Using finite element analysis on digitally reconstructed skulls, researchers calculated that an adult T-Rex could generate bite forces exceeding 12,800 pounds, the strongest of any land animal ever measured. But force alone doesn't tell the whole story. The teeth of T-Rex were uniquely adapted, thick, conical, and reinforced to resist lateral stress. Unlike the blade-like teeth of other large theropods like Giganotosaurus or Carcharodontosaurus, T-Rex teeth were designed to crush bone. Fossil evidence confirms this. We have Triceratops and Edmontosaurus bones with T-Rex bite marks that show complete penetration, with the bone actually healing afterward, proving the prey animal survived the attack. This changes everything we thought we knew about dinosaur predation. T-Rex didn't always kill with a single bite. It inflicted devastating injuries and may have tracked wounded prey over time, a strategy used by some modern predators. Here's something that might surprise you. T-Rex was likely more intelligent than we've given it credit for. The encephalization quotient, a measure of brain size relative to body size, places T-Rex above most dinosaurs and comparable to some modern birds. This doesn't mean T-Rex was solving puzzles, but it suggests sophisticated sensory processing, spatial memory, and possibly even social learning. Evidence of multiple T-Rex individuals found in close proximity at several fossil sites has sparked ongoing debate about social behavior. Were they pack hunters? The evidence remains inconclusive, but research from 2025 analyzing pathology patterns, healed injuries on bones, shows that some T-Rex survived devastating injuries that would have required weeks or months of recovery. How did they eat during this time? One hypothesis suggests social tolerance or even cooperative behavior, at least among related individuals. Let's address the arms because everyone jokes about them, but the science tells a different story. Yes, T-Rex arms were short, only about 3 feet long on a 40-foot animal, but they weren't vestigial or useless. Muscle attachment sites on the bones indicate these arms were remarkably strong, capable of lifting over 400 pounds each. But what were they for? Research published in 2024 suggests several possibilities. Gripping prey during feeding, helping the animal rise from a resting position, or even tactile social communication. The arms had 2 functional fingers with large curved claws. These weren't decorative. The most recent hypothesis, based on biomechanical modeling, suggests the arms may have been used to grip and stabilize prey during the initial attack, preventing escape while the jaws delivered the killing bite. Now let's talk about mating and reproduction, because this is where T-Rex behavior becomes truly fascinating. Sexual dimorphism, physical differences between males and females, has been debated for decades. The famous specimen Sue, one of the most complete T-Rex skeletons ever found, showed evidence of medullary bone tissue in the leg bones. This tissue is found only in female birds during egg laying, as it provides a calcium reservoir for shell formation. This discovery, confirmed in 2023, proved Sue was female and actively producing eggs when she died. But identifying sex in other specimens remains challenging because the differences are subtle. How did T-Rex attract mates? We don't have direct evidence, but comparative biology offers clues. Modern archosaurs, birds and crocodilians, the closest living relatives of dinosaurs, use a combination of visual displays, vocalizations, and physical combat to establish dominance and attract partners. T-Rex likely employed similar strategies. The large nasal openings and complex sinus systems suggest the capability for producing deep, resonant calls, possibly infrasound below human hearing range, similar to elephants. These low-frequency sounds could travel for miles, advertising territory and fitness to potential mates. Territorial combat between rival T-Rex was undoubtedly brutal. We have fossil evidence of this, skull bones with bite marks that match T-Rex tooth spacing, facial injuries that healed over time, and even one specimen with a portion of its lower jaw bitten off and partially healed. These weren't predation attempts. These were intraspecific conflicts, fights between members of the same species. Research from 2025 analyzing injury patterns suggests that T-Rex combat focused on the head and neck, with rivals attempting to grip and thrash rather than deliver killing bites. The goal wasn't to kill, it was to establish dominance, defend territory, or secure mating rights. Once mating occurred, the female faced the enormous challenge of egg production and nesting. Based on related tyrannosaur discoveries and biomechanical constraints, a T-Rex clutch likely contained between 15 and 30 eggs, laid over several days. The nesting site selection was critical: elevated areas to avoid flooding, proximity to water sources, and defensible locations. The female would guard the nest aggressively, driving away potential predators. But here's the harsh reality. Infant mortality was extremely high. Of those 15 to 30 hatchlings, statistical models suggest only 1 or 2 would survive to adulthood. Predation, disease, starvation, and even cannibalism culled the population ruthlessly. The lifespan of T-Rex, determined through bone histology studies, averaged 28 to 30 years in the wild, with some individuals possibly reaching their early 30s. But very few T-Rex died of old age. The fossil record shows evidence of injuries, infections, and diseases that would have been debilitating. One famous specimen, nicknamed Sue, showed signs of a parasitic infection in the jaw, healed rib fractures, and arthritis in the tail vertebrae. Life as an apex predator was physically demanding and dangerous. As a T-Rex aged, its role in the ecosystem shifted again. Older individuals, while still formidable, experienced declining physical abilities, slower movement, reduced bite force due to worn teeth, and accumulated injuries. Research from 2024 suggests that aging T-Rex may have relied more heavily on scavenging and targeting weaker prey. The romanticized notion of an elderly T-Rex gracefully retiring is, unfortunately, not supported by evidence. More likely, aging individuals faced increasing competition from younger, stronger rivals until injury, disease, or starvation claimed them. The end came not with a whimper, but with fire and darkness. 66 million years ago, a 6-mile-wide asteroid struck the Yucatan Peninsula with the force of billions of nuclear weapons. The impact triggered global wildfires, a years-long impact winter as debris blocked sunlight, and the collapse of food chains worldwide. T-Rex, along with all non-avian dinosaurs, went extinct. But here's the remarkable truth. Dinosaurs didn't entirely disappear. Birds, living dinosaurs, survived the extinction event and diversified into the 10,000 species we see today. Every time you see a bird, you're looking at a living descendant of the dinosaurs, carrying forward a lineage that stretches back over 200 million years. The story of T-Rex isn't just about a fearsome predator. It's about evolutionary adaptation, ecological complexity, and the deep time that shaped life on Earth. Modern paleontology, using cutting-edge technology like CT scanning, isotope analysis, and biomechanical modeling, continues to reveal new insights. In 2025 alone, researchers published studies on T. Rex growth rates, sensory capabilities, and social behavior that have fundamentally changed our understanding. If this journey through real dinosaur science has sparked your curiosity, do me a favor. Leave a comment with the dinosaur you want us to cover next, and don't forget to subscribe. We're bringing you the latest paleontology discoveries as they happen, and trust me, the next episode is going to explore a dinosaur that makes T-Rex look tame by comparison. The legacy of Tyrannosaurus Rex extends far beyond its extinction. It represents the pinnacle of large theropod evolution, a species so perfectly adapted to its environment that it dominated its ecosystem for over 2 million years, an eternity in geological terms. The fossils we've discovered, fewer than 50 partial skeletons worldwide, are precious windows into a lost world, each bone telling a story of survival, adaptation, and the relentless march of evolution. As we continue to uncover new specimens and apply new technologies, our understanding deepens. The T-Rex of 2025 is not the tail-dragging, slow-witted monster of mid-20th century imagination. It's a sophisticated, warm-blooded, possibly feathered predator with keen senses, complex behaviors, and a life history as rich and varied as any modern apex predator. The more we learn, the more remarkable these animals become. Not monsters, but magnificent products of natural selection, shaped by millions of years of evolutionary pressure into the ultimate Cretaceous hunter. The next time you see a museum skeleton or a documentary reconstruction, remember, you're not just looking at bones. You're witnessing the physical evidence of a life lived 66 million years ago. A creature that felt hunger and fear, that fought for survival, that raised young and defended territory, that experienced pain, and perhaps even something we might recognize as emotion. That's the true wonder of paleontology. It brings the deep past to life, connecting us across unimaginable spans of time to the incredible diversity of life that came before us. And that story, the real story of dinosaurs, is far more amazing than any fiction could ever be.